Hey everyone, so it's Hearth and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to be doing a confidence candle magic spell. So it's been a while since I last posted a spell, and that's for two main reasons. The first is that life has been manic and I haven't really needed to do any spell work, so I haven't really done any. The second is that any spell work that I have done has been more long term and just really for me. So I haven't decided to show you guys any of the workings that I've done previously to this, but this particular working I do want to show you because I think it could be really useful for you guys and anyone that's in a similar situation to me. So a couple of little backgrounds to this particular working. The first is that this spell works with candle magic. There are alternatives to candle magic that you can use. It's just that for me, I really enjoy using candle magic and use it 9 times out of 10. So I'm sure if you're after a confidence spell, you will be able to find one out there, whether that's on YouTube, in a spell book, or creating one yourself that doesn't include candles. But for the purpose of this working, it does, because it's the kind of magic that I want to do for myself. The second is that this spell is for something rather specific to me. Now you can tailor the spell and tweak it to suit what you need it to do for you. But for me, it's designed to assist with public speaking. So I hate public speaking. It's like my least favorite thing to do. I can't stand it. But at the events that I sell at, I do teaching, and I do talks where I talk to people about folk magic and candle magic and rituals and spell work. And because of that, I have to do public speaking. And anyone that's been to one of these talks can probably see how straight up terrified I am. For me, public speaking has always been something I've really struggled with. It kind of sets off my anxiety issues that I already have. And so this working is in particular for confidence in terms of public speaking. Now you can tweak this spell, change the wording, change the petition, change the inscriptions and so on to make it suit your specific intention. So don't just look at the spell and go, that's nothing for me, because you can tweak and adapt it. The way I would say to take this kind of spell work where it's very specific is to draw on things that you think could be useful within your own personal practice. So if you like how I have dressed the candle, then you can use that within your own workings. If you like the basis of the spell, but not quite the way it was put together, you can tweak the way it was put together to suit you. So even if this spell isn't going to directly assist you in your life at the moment, it might be worth taking a look at the aspects of it and see what could suit you. So let's get on with this working. I'm going to attempt to show you kind of start to finish of the process for this particular working, and to do that I am going to have to change locations. So I will see you guys in a minute when we get on with this spell. Okay, so here we are on the table. Now this working might be a little difficult for you guys to see, mainly because you are currently opposite the table from me. So you aren't next to me or over my shoulder like you usually are, you're actually like facing me. So apologies if anything goes out of frame or if you struggle to see what I'm doing. I'll try to explain it as best I can as I go along. But first things first, let's have a look at some of the items that I've got for this particular working. And as I go through it, I'll kind of explain to you why I've chosen the particular things I've chosen, just so that if you want to adapt this working for yourself, you'll know kind of the basis behind each individual item. So if you want to adapt it, tweak it, work with it in your own practice, you know why I've chosen the items. So first thing is a sage and sage dish. This is my pentacle sage dish. Inside is a very battered, burnt piece of garden sage. This isn't white sage, so it's more British garden sage than American white sage. So I have that. I also have a lighter. I don't much like using matches, I like using lighters. And that is for the sage and for the candle later on. I then have a candle holder. This is a vintage brass candle holder that I got off eBay about 12 years ago. So it's very old, it's very battered, and that's what I'm going to be using to hold the candle itself. Because this is going to be a quite toned down working. This does not contain half as many items as my workings usually contain, and it's going to be just quite a simple, quick working. It's not quite as elaborate as a lot of the others are. I then have the candle. This is an old orange paraffin candle. It is old and rather dirty. I actually got this probably getting on for about 9-10 years ago from a little witch who used to run a shop in the local market. And this is one of the candles that I got from her, and it's got such powerful memories for me. And although typically I wouldn't want to burn it, I think that connection to the candle and knowing where I got it from and who I got it from and why I got it is going to really help the spell. So I'm sacrificing this candle for the purposes of this spell because it does have such powerful emotions for me. I then have a toothpick, just a bog standard normal wooden toothpick. I have a piece of petition paper. This is just a piece of brown paper, and this is actually recycled paper, and the edges are torn. So the idea behind this is that I want this working to soften. I want it to be quite gentle and effective. I don't need it to be harsh and cutting and sharp. So I have trimmed the sides, I've ripped them, that's why it's quite wonky, so that there are no harsh, sharp edges for this working. I then have a little tiger eye heart. I'm not even really sure where I got this. It was probably a couple of years ago now. I think I got it from my friend who sells crystals at events. It's kind of hard to see on this camera, but that is what it looks like. And tiger eye is a crystal of grounding and confidence. So for this particular working, I think that is going to be really, really useful. I then have protection sachet powder. Now, just a little bit of background to this particular working. As I mentioned before, I am really struggling to do public speaking, but it's part of my job, so I have to do it. And I really, really struggle with it. And my issue behind public speaking is having the confidence to go up there, but also having the security that nothing bad is going to happen. A little bit of a side note is that at the last event that I did a talk, I actually got myself so nervous to do the talk on the Saturday. I actually made myself sick on the Sunday because I was so stressed, because I'm worried about people heckling me. I'm worried about people nitpicking everything I say and trying to purposefully attack me while I'm up there. Like, I don't know how to cope with someone being rude and brutal to me because they don't agree with what I'm saying or because they don't like me as a person. I don't know, but it's that underlying fear. And so I've included things like the protection powder and the protection oil that I'll talk about in a minute, that are designed to help me feel confidence in myself, but also confident in the idea that I'm protected and that nothing bad is going to happen. Because so far, I've been doing these talks now for a couple of months, nothing bad has ever happened. Touch wood. I did just touch wood. And so I think I need to be more confident in myself in knowing that everything is going to be fine. So that's kind of what that is for. And then I also have some protection oil that I'm going to be using as well for the same purpose. So I will say that I know I'm probably going to get questions about this. The oil and the sachet powder, I use the stuff that I make myself and I sell in my store. So if you do want to use protection powder or protection oil, there are other places that you can get it from. You can get it from Botanicas, you can get it from occult shops, you can get it online. I'm sure you will be able to find it wherever you are. But if you did want to get it from me, my link is in the description box, just in case you wanted to get the exact stuff that I'm going to be using in this working. Okay. So my timer on my camera is ticking down, so I had better get started. First things first, I am going to move some of these things out the way. and we are going to cleanse the candle and also cleanse the crystal. Now this is because these two items, the crystal and the candle, they have been sitting waiting for a very long time to be used. So the candle has been in my candle box for probably about 2 years now, and before that it's been about 10 years, just kind of going from chest to chest. The crystal has been among all of my other crystals, so I definitely want to give them a good cleanse before I start the working. So that's what I'm going to be doing now, and I'm probably going to be quite silent while I'm doing this, just for ease of doing it. And actually, just before I completely snuff it out, I'm just going to give my candle holder a little bit of a cleanse, mainly because it has a lot of memories with it, you know, it's very old, and I've used it in a lot of workings before, so I feel like I should just give that a bit of a cleanse while I'm at it. And then I'm just going to stamp out the sage, and that will just go out by itself. So now we have the candle. Now the candle in question is not going to have that much done to it, but I am going to do some scribing, hence why I have my toothpick. So what I'm planning on doing on this candle is I'm planning on carving in confidence all the way round. Now I might change the words to be confidence in public speaking as I'm going down, but the same process is done either way. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to take my little toothpick and I'm going to start carving at the top, and I'm going to spiral down all the way to the bottom of the candle to kind of draw that energy into me, because it's what I want to be drawn into myself. Now, different workers have different directions that they use. I personally use top to bottom if you want to attract something, bottom to top if you want to release it. But I do know other workers who do it differently, so go with whatever you feel most comfortable with. Okay, so that candle is now fully scribed with the word confidence. You can't really see it because of the light, but I promise it is fully inscribed. So now I want to charge this with my energy, and to do this I am going to go quite quiet. You can speak whatever words of intention you want over it, but the main thing that you want to do is you want to channel your energy into this candle. In another one of my videos, I spoke about the different types of candle magic. This is going to be a representational candle. The orange is designed for confidence, and so I want to imbue the energy of confidence and all of my energy and intention into the candle itself. So you can speak words of intention, whatever words suit you best. You can work with different deities. I am going to be just doing some energy work on it just to kind of put all my energy into it. That is something that if you want to know how to do it, you're just going to have to kind of learn via trial and error. I do have some workings on energy manipulation that might help if you're struggling with that, but it's something that I can't really talk you through in this video. So now that that is charged with some energy, I'm going to be adding more into it later on in the video. I am going to move this aside and I'm going to start on my petition. Okay, so I just had to go and grab a pen, and I'm sorry if the camera angle is slightly different. I did a bit of tweaking, but I am going to do my petition. Now this is going to be done with just a standard pen. You can use different coloured inks depending on your intention, but for me today, I'm just going to be using a standard pen. I don't often use ritual inks like dove's blood or dragon's blood, and I also don't really use coloured ink or coloured pens, mainly because I'm really cheap and I don't like having to buy expensive ink and expensive pens to go with the ink. I buy the 50p biro pens in a giant pack from Wilko's. You know, I just buy cheap pens. So the petition that I'm going to be doing is a rather simple petition. I'm going to start by repeating my desired intention across the page. Now, typically for something like this, I would do it in 3, but for whatever reason, with this particular working, I feel as though I need to do it in 5 times, like 5 times down. And this is going to be different for everyone. If you feel that a specific number is right for you, go with that number. I would typically go for 3, but for whatever reason today, it seems like 5 is the one that it wants. So I'm essentially going to be writing across the petition, confidence in public speaking, or confidence in talks, or something like that. And I'm going to be repeating that 5 times in a straight line across the paper, and then I will get back to you, okay? So now that I've written that 5 times down the paper, so it looks like this, I am then going to turn that petition paper 90 degrees clockwise. I am then going to write my full name and date of birth 5 times across the petition, but I am going to blur or skip that bit, mainly because that's kind of personal information that I don't really want to share. So that is the plan. So essentially the way the petition is going to look, just in case I do kind of skip it out, is it's going to be confident in talk presentations 5 times down. I'm then going to rotate it, and I'm going to do my full name, date of birth 5 times. I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do confidence in talk presentations again, going this way over the top to kind of really imbue that energy in. And then I'm going to turn it 90 degrees again, and I'm going to sign my name 5 times down the paper. Then I'm going to be turning it 90 degrees again, and I'm going to be folding it in half towards me, and that might be where I next see you, but we will see how this goes. Okay, so now that the petition is written, I'm going to move it over there, and then I'm going to get on with the oil. Now, the reason I'm not finishing the petition just yet is because I want some of the oil to go onto the petition. So I'm going to be doing the candle with the oil first. So first step with this is to use an oil that matches your intention. This is one of my protection oils, and these do have essential oils inside them, so I'm going to give it a good shake. At first, just to blend the essential oils into the body of the oil. I'm then going to charge this oil with energy, and then I'm going to activate it. Now, I've spoken about this in another video. I might have to do a whole new video on that, but I do have a video on oils and how to use them. If you want to know how to do that, I will link it somewhere. I'll find a way to link it so that you guys can see that. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to charge it, activate it, and then get ready to dress the candle. So I'm then going to open the oil, and I'm going to decant a little bit onto my hand like that. You don't need very much, a little goes a long way. Reseal the oil again because I know what I'm like, and then I'm going to rub it between my hands, and I'm going to energize that oil for my specific intention. So the way I dressed the candle there was I dressed it from top to bottom to help draw that intention into my life. So I'm going to set the candle down to one side. Okay, so now that I have written the petition and dressed the candle, I am then going to be adding some oil onto the petition itself, and that's why I didn't finish the petition completely before moving on to loading the candle and dressing the candle with oil. So the idea behind the use of the oil on the petition is the idea that you can add extra energy and intention into the working. So different patterns of oil depend on your desired intention. So 3 is good for manifestation and attraction, 2 is good for balance, 4 is good for stability, 5 is known as the fixing pattern, which is what I'm going to be doing today, and so on and so on. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm taking this oil again. Now, unfortunately, between the last time you saw me and now, which to you was a couple of seconds, to me was about an hour, I had to take a phone call, so I'm going to have to reshape the oil again. So I'm going to reactivate it. Okay. And then I'm going to reopen the oil, use my finger, and I'm just going to tip a little bit onto my finger. That's all you need. And then I'm going to dot this around the petition, in the corners, and then once in the middle. There we go. Wipe the excess off on the cloth. And that is what's known as a fixing pattern. It's designed to fix your energy and your intention into the petition. So I'm now going to charge it with my energy before continuing on. So just before I move on, I'm going to grab a little bit of sachet powder. I'm just going to sprinkle it onto the petition itself, and I'm going to kind of rub it into the paper a little bit. Just to add that extra energy in. And I'm then going to fold the petition in half towards me, turn it 90 degrees clockwise, in half towards me again, and then I'm going to charge it one last time. Okay, so that petition I can now put to one side. Now moving back onto the candle, so it is already dressed with the oil. I'm then going to be using some powder. Now I'm going to charge this powder with my energy again, and then I'm going to dress the candle from top to bottom just with a gentle dusting, and then I can kind of rub it in. And this is typically how you use sachet powders on candles. As you can see, it's very, very fine. If you do want to know more about sachet powder, why it's used, how to use it, I do have a full video on sachet powder. Otherwise, I'm just going to get on with it in this video. I don't want to kind of explain the history and the use of everything so much as I just kind of want to show you how I use it. Okay, so that is the candle covered in sachet powder. And as you can see, I'm not sure if you can, but I hope you can, it's now mattified the candle. And the actual inscription that I've put on it is actually darker now. Like, you can see it more pronounced than before, which is good. So this candle has now been charged with energy, it's been dressed with oil, it's been loaded with powder, and it can now go back into its candle holder. And yes, for reference, sachet powder does make a mess. It's just one of those things that you just kind of have to accept going into it, that this style of working is kind of messy. So hence why I have this kind of tapestry thing that I can just kind of shove in the washing machine and it comes clean pretty easily. So now we move on to the candle holder. Now the way I typically do this is, although they can stand in there, I don't entirely trust that it's going to stay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently melt the bottom section of the candle just to ensure that it stays in safely. So I'm just going to melt around here, nothing super fancy. Just to kind of ensure that it will stay, and that is then much more secure. Now at this point, you can't see what I'm doing very much, so I'm going to move over to where the candle is going to burn, and then I'll talk to you more in a moment. Okay, so this is where the candle spell is going to burn down. This is my Samhain altar. And on there, I've already placed a petition underneath a coaster which has the candle on top of it. I have then charged the crystal to act as a talisman for the working that I can then continue to use afterwards. So that once that energy is burned down, some of it is released to help manifest like a normal working, and some of it is going to charge down into the tiger eye heart, which I am then going to carry with me and take with me to the events where I need to do the talks. I've then charged it all with my energy to know exactly what it needs to do, and now I'm going to light it, and that really is the last step. I am going to allow the candle to burn all the way down as much as I can tonight. If I need to snuff the candle out, I will do just that. I will snuff it, and then I will relight it tomorrow with the same intention to continue releasing that energy. And then once the candle is burned down fully, I'm going to thank all the energies that have assisted me, and I'm then going to utilize that crystal in a little pouch, or I'm going to carry it with me to the events to bring that energy forward, so that from this point on, that crystal is going to act as a talisman for the energy that I have imbued it with. So I'm going to light the candle, I'm going to dim the light so it's more normal for my kind of household, and then I'm just going to let it burn down, and you guys can watch it with me. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope that it was useful. I hope that it was enjoyable. I'm hoping that this works out well for me because I have a talk to do this weekend and I am bricking it. It is at a bigger event where there are a lot more people and I'm really scared. So hopefully it helps me to not freak out quite so much because I do freak out a lot. And I hope that it helps you guys. If any of you need to do public speaking, whether that's for your college degree, whether that's for your school presentation, or you have to go up and talk in front of your colleagues at work, I hope that this spell can help you in some way, or that you can draw on aspects of this spell to help your own personal practice, because that would be fantastic. If you did enjoy this video, feel free to give it a like. That really means so much to me. If you do have any questions, comments, concerns, video ideas, or just want to chit chat with the community down in the comment section, feel free to post a comment. And if you do enjoy the magical content on this channel or in this video, feel free to hit subscribe. I try my best to post magical content every Wednesday and every Saturday at 6 p.m. So I hope you guys have a marvelous magical day and I will see you next time.